Welcome to Starkey Soundbites. I'm Dave Fabry, Starkey's Chief Innovation Officer. Now it's May, which is Better Hearing Month, and I can think of no one better to speak on this topic than Starkey's President and CEO. Brandon, you, for 29 years, have been thinking about hearing 24/7, 365, so it's appropriate that you be here to sit and come back to the podcast to talk a little bit about better hearing.
Thanks, Dave, and I appreciate it because, yes, I've grown up in the industry. It has. I've thought about it for 24/7, 365 for 29 years and coming June with Starkey. But what's great about it is like the last couple of years, it's now more forefront. People are thinking about it. They understand it. It's not just about a hearing aid. It's about hearing health.
Right. I mean, you know, we wring our hands a little bit, and there's been an awful lot. You've been a very calming force to the industry and to Starkey during the OTC era, as I call it, you know, which kind of coincided with the pandemic. And a lot of hand-wringing, people got worried about what's going to happen and this and that and the other thing. And you've been sort of, you know, remembering that caring can't be commoditized, right, that keeping a steady hand and focus on the patient is going to mean that there's plenty of business for all of us. And so far, you know, I think your predictions have been pretty spot on.
Well, I know it's, you know, thank you for the calming force because there's times where it's probably more frustration when you read about misinformation or you see the pictures of how they're depicting hearing aids and hearing technology in 29 years. And I won't speak for yourself, but you've dedicated your life to
40
of, you know, helping people. And it's an insult is why I look at it. And I don't say that publicly to be demeaning to people because some people just don't know. But, you know, what we know from our experience, right? We've been here long enough. We know the psychology of the hearing impaired. We know our customers, and it is about caring. It's about better hearing, not a piece of plastic. And it's about the service and the care for that patient. And, you know, we had the predictions, and you never want to say, you know, I told you so, or yeah, I was right. But we've seen this time and time again. It just had a bigger audience and a bigger advertising.
Yeah, and I think if there's a good thing that came out of this, you know, 40 years this year, I've been an audiologist, and one of the things is
What month? What month?
I guess technically July. So
okay.
yeah, when I graduated, 40 years. So, you know, I think one of the issues is for my entire career, I've had to arm wrestle people to get them to acknowledge that they have a hearing loss and consider use of hearing aids, a 7 to 10 year delay. And if anything, this issue of the focus that began in the Obama administration, continued in the Trump administration with the signing of the OTC bill, and then when President Biden ensured that the FDA got the final regulatory ruling and approval through, it did put us on the map. Now we're in the conversation, as you said, over the last few years. Hearing and the awareness for better hearing has never been higher.
Right. And, you know, I there was a moment, I think it was around 2016 for me, when everything, it was just happening, right? And you're trying to educate, and you don't want to be against it, but you hear what people are saying, and you're trying not to be defensive and all of this. But then I had a moment where I realized, you know what, use this to our advantage.
Yeah.
And it really became clear to me, and it was, I believe, January 6th, was it 2022, last year, when President Biden was in the Rose Garden and talked about, you know, the OTC and going to get that through, and that's fine, but that's national awareness. All right, so here's OTC, but use that as a stepping stone to educate. And we'd been doing it before, but it really brought attention where we could have conversations with national media. We were having conversations with federal agencies and other agencies about hearing health and the FDA, and they were productive conversations because both sides, and you were there with me, you know, 2015, 16, where, you know, the hands were crossed and everybody's kind of figuring out what's going on. And Starkey stepped up through a lot of team effort. HIA stepped up with Kate Carr and the team there and came together with Barbara Kelly, HLAA. And there became a consensus of what is right, what is wrong, and there's sometimes going to be just good enough. So it really started off from a policy to a campaign of education, and it's worked out. You know, and for the good, I think for us in our business, because we're here to help people, but also the negative is the misinformation that's out there.
Yeah, I mean, even last month, I was on the local television, one of the local television affiliates, and I brought along some historical hearing aids, if you will. But unfortunately, in the context of that, a lot of people don't realize that hearing aids were the very first medical device to incorporate transistors at the time that they were developed in the 50s. Look like a big shrimp or banana behind your ear. And unfortunately, a lot of people still think about hearing aids in that matter. You mentioned it's not just the plastic behind your ear, it's carrying, but people still think of this large, unsightly device that stigmatizes hearing loss and the use of hearing aids.
Well, the internet's not going away. That doesn't help us when you look at images. Also, I think there is an opportunity. I know national media, the big three, whether it's, with CBS, ABC, and NBC, and then, fourth being Fox and others that are doing news, is having pictures, just images of hearing aids.
Updated images.
That, are relevant to what's going on today. And they want to. I do believe that. It's just getting that, building those relationships. And then what's I've been surprised about with OTC is the quality, because we knew it'd be touch and go, but the type of products that we saw 13 years ago, 20 years ago as PSAPs, are even a step further back from then because of the plastic and the sound. That's the misinformation that gives hearing aids a bad reputation.
Yeah. And, and at the same time, so to put the positive spin on it, in the sense that if OTC helps address hearing loss for a person to shorten that 7 to 10 year delay for entrance into the position rather than sets it back, if it provides an on-ramp into prescriptive care, or for those who can handle it, if it is a solution for them, great. Then accessibility and affordability has been achieved.
And that's been the positive and the negative. There's a positive on-ramp and there's a negative on-ramp. Coming and complaining versus, hey, what is this OTC and I am interested in hearing health. So, which is really why we've stayed the course as you and others have been instrumental here at Starkey to getting us to where we're at today with premium hearing technology that is right for the patient. It's not about OTC. That's somebody that's, okay, maybe we'll try it out. But hearing health is much bigger than an over-the-counter acronym.
Yeah, absolutely. And anything that increases the adoption rate for the 430 million that have hearing loss worldwide today, expected to get up to 700 million or more by 2050. And the adoption rate around the world, no matter where you are, is less than half in every country where hearing aids are available. And in many areas, much lower than that.
And just think, 30 some odd whatever years, you'll be in the industry again. Close to 1 billion people need hearing help. We're in a great industry. I mean, it's an aging population that, it drives us every day.
Yeah.
I don't see an end in sight. I used to think that the industry would peak in 2030. I don't think so. I think you're thinking at a whole new demographic and a whole new opportunity. Hearing protection, people that have normal hearing but want the enhancement and other features that we've worked on. And then, yes, the population that we currently serve. So there's opportunity, not as a company to, just grow and, be more profitable, because we invest back into Starkey. We have an opportunity to help more people.
Absolutely. And we've talked in the past on Sound Bites with Luke Marsh and Sound Gear. People say, well, why would a hearing aid company be focused on preventing hearing loss? And there's plenty of work for all of us ahead, and the fact that we're focused on prevention as well as treatment, I think, is exactly within our lane.
The Veterans Administration is our largest customer, and we very proudly do what we can to help our veterans. And I've told many senators in the last 4 or 5 years, I hope the VA is not our largest customer a decade from now, or even 6 years from now, because it can be prevented. Up front with our active military men and women, what we're doing is Sound Gear, and they're listening. I mean, they absolutely. So, it's about helping the upfront and then, the aftermath.
Yeah, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
There you go.
And so in that respect, I think we're seeing advances in technology across the complete spectrum. You with 29 years, me with 40 years. I wake up every day. People ask me, and every day I'm trying to get into the office as quickly as I can. I mean, I come in with the same excitement and energy that I did 20 years ago.
And you know, we have similar backgrounds from a standpoint of
Mhm.
small town growing up, and I'll say Midwest values. Your 40 years is well rounded. My 29 is rounded from a standpoint of I've been around you, I've been around Bill Austin, I've been around our customers, and I have, you know, worked with patients. You have done it, you know, more than, you know, I know others, of course, like Bill, who, you know,
Yeah,
we know
done
him,
more than anybody.
but that's your passion. Now
Yeah.
you bring that passion to what we do for the right reasons, you know, and I'm the service side. What can we do better for the patient,
Mhm.
right? The technology and the service component and the quality and thinking differently. So, you know, and my point is to, you know, when you're talking your 40 years, it's you can say 80, it doesn't matter because you've been able to bring invaluable experience to us.
Well, thank you for that.
And that's not you didn't pay me to say that. That's the team that we have here at Starkey, people
Yeah.
that know the patient and are in this industry for the right reasons.
Well, thank you. Well, that's an excellent segue into technology. And so, you know, in 2018, we launched the industry's first device that had embedded sensors that, in addition to providing the vital function of better hearing, provided a pathway to health and wellness and virtual assistant. But then just recently, Genesis AI. Talk a little bit about the genesis of Genesis and how are things going?
Things are going great, but I can tell you that it takes a team.
Yeah.
You know, Genesis started 5 years ago, right? So that's where I had a, you know, little bit more hair. And from a standpoint of, you know, I'm always thinking about what could be better. My biggest fear, I get asked a lot, you know, what keeps you up at night and everything, is complacency.
Mhm.
And we knew 2018, Livio, and then with Evolve, that was a stepping stone, right? That was the stepping stone to what we could do. And I always like it. And not that I'm trying to go back and old school, but I love the space program, and I'm a you know, astronomy and I'll say space geek. But it took Mercury and Gemini to get to Apollo,
Mhm.
and it's taken, you know, what we've done with Livio AI and Evolve, great products, and Evolve still a great product,
Yep.
to get to Genesis. And we had parallel paths going, and it was quite simple. And, you know, there's a lot of story behind the vision and, you know, the details and things. But it was October of 2017, and it was quite simple. We needed to cut the cord from my term, old Starkey, right? Eventually, where we needed new software, new app, new form factor, new everything,
All knew everything.
to get us for the coming decade. Now, we didn't see a pandemic coming, but
Right.
you know, with the global aging population and growing people we could help, we needed all new everything. And you always start with sound quality, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that people aren't coming in buying a piece of plastic or buying just for the health features. That's something that we wanted to add as a benefit. It's hearing and noise. So sitting down with our senior principal engineer, John Kindred, who was behind the Destiny and the feedback we did there. John, what can you do for sound quality? If we think of anything else, you know, you could have all sorts of features, but people want to hear, you know, better in noise. And, you know, I use, you know, 3D sound, or, you know, think different, 3D, 4D, 5D, whatever it might be. You know, I was trying to get the point across, is like, it's that crystal clear, you know, when you go in that movie theater and you hear, you know, the surround sound and everything. What can we do with that? And, you know, starting there to where we are today, and everything in between that added to Genesis, from, as you know, working with bringing on Achin Bomick as our chief technology officer. Think different, right? Somebody that is connected outside of Starkey, but also understands the IC development coming from Intel. We needed an all new chip, all new design, all new fit, working with you on knowing the patient, because that's critical. The patient is in charge. The ear is the boss, right?
Absolutely.
And you put all these components together and everybody works together and matures as a team. And you throw in a global pandemic that slows progress down, but also in its own way opens doors for newer technology that wouldn't have been available in 2020 or 2021. that we've been able to apply and make Genesis AI even better. And you put all this together, and it's like a you look at it sometimes, and it's like a lot of ingredients going into a soup, and you're like, is this going to taste good or not?
Mm-hmm.
But then it all starts coming together, and at the end of the day, the patient decides. And the goals that we had for Genesis, we checked every box. We checked every box that we set out to do. And it wasn't about, trying to be the most profitable, trying to go after the market share. We all agreed as a team, not just me. I was fortunate enough to have the front row seat, but we started out as we want to be the best, not the biggest. We can go get market share. You know how that works around the world. And, let other companies do that. I want to be the best. Apple doesn't have the largest market share, and I know they're always used as the example. Mm-hmm. And it starts with that sound quality. And it's not, we should not wake up trying to find the easy way. We should not wake up trying to equate our work or talk ourselves into the lowest common denominator. Because, the market's going down. People don't want to pay that. They will pay for value. They will pay for better hearing. And we have to believe that. And everybody at Starkey believes. And we did exactly what we said. And we're at a fun time because we just launched.
Yeah.
And it's only been almost 2 months. Cautiously optimistic because everything's great. You're waiting for what's next. But now we're looking ahead, right? Yeah. And that's where this is the fun time. And Genesis AI is a byproduct of your 40 years, Bill Austin's 60 plus years, my 29, Jeff Guy. I could go down the list of everybody that's industry experienced at this company. And it's like the perfect storm, but it's the perfect weather in a good way. Mm-hmm. This isn't turbulent times. This is, for the greater good.
Well, and you frequently talk about one team with this. And,
yes.
I reside in the R&D division and the 500 R&D people. It's not hyperbole to say that every single one of them has in some way impacted this product. You talk about the hardware, and with Achin's experience coming in from Intel, and then the other team that he surrounded himself with on the hardware side gave a great palette for its art and science, even at that level, on the engineering level, where it gave a great palette to John Kindred and the other people working on the audio side to say, okay, here's a platform that allows you 118 dB input dynamic range. One of the most commonly reported features that patients remark to me when I first fit them is how quiet this device is. It's at 118 dB dynamic range. Soft is soft, moderate's comfortable, loud is never uncomfortable, but we're really making that available. And it's a great palette to paint on for audio sound quality and build on.
And John Kindred inspired me in his conversation, and he inspired me because of his experience. And he knew, and when we talked, he said, I was, I'm the expressive, and John's the thinker, right? And that's his job. And he's sitting there listening to him. I'm like, I'm not getting through to him. Maybe he doesn't understand. He's like, yeah, this kid doesn't know what he's talking about. He went back and he was thinking, thoughtful. And then he went to his team and then other people. And you just said it. You're in the R&D, but you're part, and I know this, you're part of Starkey. Everybody is. And there isn't one employee at this company that doesn't affect where we are right now or where we're going to be at the end of the year. Everybody plays a part. There's no separations of silos and who's, individual participant trophies or individual MVPs. It's a team MVP because we're doing it for the right reasons. And that's where we want to continue to go, is working as that team for the patient. Because if you do that, everything else, it takes care of itself.
Yeah. And the other thing I think for people, when you talk about all new everything with Genesis, it's the beginning of this platform that we can build on over the next several years now to continue to expand artificial intelligence from the machine learning that we're using now with edge mode, where it's human-machine interaction, with the longer-term goal towards the onboard DNN accelerator to enable personalization and optimization, combining that technology with the individual user in combination with the professional to deliver results that we're just scratching the surface of today.
Yeah.
A year or two from now, as you say, Genesis, as good as it is the beginning of a new era in terms of the way that hearing aid performance for sound quality and speech intelligibility will just continue to improve.
And 3 years from now, I want to be 10 years ahead.
Yeah, that's what you said.
And from a technology and our roadmap, we have a clear vision. Now we have our platform.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first tried Genesis, it's kind of you're excited, but you're like, okay, here we go, right? And it was August of last year, 22, and I put it on, and I have a high frequency, loss. And when I put it on, and I listened, and I heard, some, it was out in the other office, but I had to make sure that it was on.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Is
off.
that
I didn't
quiet?
think I didn't think it was charged or anything. And then I heard it, and the first word that popped in my mind, and I wasn't trying to be cute with marketing or anything. I was trying from the human emotion was transparency.
Yeah.
Because what I noticed was, yes, the fit was great, meaning the behind the ear, and then the cable, how the cable fit, the form
More
flex
flexible.
and-
Yep.
Yes, and then the sound, because I didn't hear a circuit noise.
Right.
And Evolve AI is a great product, and we have proof on that. We know that, but with this, I had to make sure, like, is this all in? I mean, is this baked? Is this what we're, and, Achin was standing there and others. And, the next biggest, well, I shouldn't say the number one customer we know who that is, and said the same thing, Bill Austin, and has heard and listened to more hearing aids because of work on the foundation and fittings in a 61 than anybody on this planet.
Yeah.
And he said the same thing. And since then, as you and I know, we both, heard it from customers and patients, not us, because that's the great thing is you want a product that markets itself, not
Right.
that we have to make it up.
Right.
Transparent.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard the natural sound, the clarity, crisp.
Yep.
And that's what you want. And we've got a really good marketing department that, that leadership at our marketing department focused on not trying to oversell the product. Keep it simple. Talk about what it does.
Yeah.
Don't get cute with names, because our goal was, like, as I said, the product's got to speak for itself, and it is.
Well, and like you said, we and professionals who don't have hearing loss can put it in their ears and hear how quiet it is. What convinced me and got me even more excited was when I started fitting patients with it. One of my patients wanted custom devices that he could just put in his ear, set and forget, and he finds that the way we've got him set up, quiet is quiet. It's automated. He goes throughout his day and he forgets that they're in his ears. And these are custom devices. And he said he even forgets when he gets in the shower or in the tub. And in the old days, patients would call me, and I never have once punished a patient for wearing their hearing aid in the shower or in the tub because it meant it was natural. Yeah. This one, now we know with beyond IP68, it's not a deal breaker if he does so. But to me, that's the highest testimony for those patients who forget that they're wearing them because it's so natural and such a seamless integration into their life.
I've had those issues too. And what's great, because you're talking about one patient, but outside of what your daily responsibilities and what you proactively do for Starkey, which goes above any job description, you have your own, patient counsel, right? And that's where, we get the information, and you're working with people and patients and others that are giving you the real unfiltered feedback.
Radical candor is the expectation. Yeah. They have to agree to, in working with me, I don't work with as many patients as I used to because I've got other things, but I work with actively about 80 patients in that advisory council, and they give it to me. If we're not doing well, I hear about it. And
so with your patient council, with the other, I'll say very selective, and, I'll use the word high expectations, high maintenance type patients that you work with, some musicians, we know this. We had a pilot program that we were able to work with the product for over a month. The Center for Excellence, Bill Austin's our number one customer. He will come in I know what Genesis cost. And he would say, if like this is on par or below, Evolve AI. Didn't get that. And luckily, because hit the goal. But from our customers and the customers being fit, I can confidently say without hesitation, and we also know from the research that this is a flagship product for our industry. There is not one product better than Genesis AI. And I will, put that up against any product with a professional to try, because this is, Bill started the quality custom product for Starkey in 1972. It was it was called the Custom Master, and it was a simple tagline. I always remember this, is that it was a product worthy of your consideration. Genesis AI for the professional and their patients, this is a product their patients deserve.
Right, beyond consideration.
Because this goes beyond them being familiar with, Phonak, Oticon, Wyatt-X, Resound, our competition, which is known. I'm not, calling them out. They're good competitors. But people stay with what they're comfortable with.
Right.
Change
Familiarity breeds content, and they need to get out of their comfort zone.
And this is a product that is worthy of, the hearing professional getting out of that comfort zone, getting out of the, I say this with respect, the complacency of, yes, I know the software, I know the system, I know how to work with the company. No, this product's that good. Get on the rocket ride, because it's not worthy of their consideration. This is a product their patients deserve.
Yeah.
And that's different. And, I will, from any patient fitting, I'll guarantee that they're going to hear better.
Yep.
And I back that. Again, this isn't marketing or something that, you just say and you throw out there. This is, we've seen the proof, and we know it's that good because it is the latest technology. And from the end, as we said, what are we going to say? What's the taglines? How are we going to market this? And quite frankly, it became, natural working with the team of Karen Spaeth and Holly Shizzle and Josh Secor. It's like all new everything. Because we were trying, how do you say all new everything? Well, it's all new everything.
It is.
And from the inside out. And that's all you got to say, because the product speaks for itself.
Yeah. And clinicians who want the best for their patient, May is Better Hearing Month. No better time, if you're a patient and listening to this, get your hearing tested. If you've got a hearing loss, seek out the help of a professional who can help find the best product for you. We feel very confident that your patients deserve the opportunity to be fit with Genesis. If you haven't worked with us, or if you have, you're already experiencing it. But this product is that good. We'll stand behind it.
Yes.
We've had and devoted previous Soundbites episodes with Achin and Sarah to the technical aspects. 51 hours of battery life on the RIC RT. On the custom rechargeable, 42 hours of battery life. Beyond IP68. A whole host of other Starkey unique features that will make it easier for those patients who want effortless, seamless, while also providing them with the additional granularity of edge mode, situational, to reduce background noise and enhance speech beyond what we had in the previous generation of products because of that improved computational power on the chip. Yes. But the bottom line, I think, of no better message than what you just said with regards to your patients deserve this technology during Better Hearing Month.
And, what you mentioned, a lot of those features is, to me, nowadays, it's table stakes.
Yeah.
We should have the best battery. If we're coming out with all new everything, it should be the best. And, this is, you and I are movie buffs. When you remake a movie, there's only so many movies that, like, maybe it's better than the original.
Pretty rare. Yeah.
People need to look at the remake of Starkey, this movie, because if they think that Phonak or others might have the better sounding hearing aid, you know what? Don't assume. You can form your own opinion. But this movie's worth watching.
We are going to move forward with independent verification of our product, Genesis AI, our flagship, against the best that the industry has to offer. And I'm really looking forward. I'm chomping at the bit to see how those studies are going to come out. Hearing Tracker has put out audio comparisons. Go listen for yourself. Yes. Listen to the comparisons between these products and what everyone else has to offer. Go in with an open mind. and then let me know what you think. So,
Yes,
Brandon, thanks for any final words.
No, I always enjoy it. You and I are so aligned and so passionate about what we do. And we talk about May is Better Hearing Month. And yes, go get your hearing checked, but it's also understanding the importance of hearing health. Hearing is essential. And it goes beyond just a hearing check. It's understanding what you're missing. And Genesis AI and other products and whatever that is, at least do something.
Yeah.
Because hearing is essential. And we're not letting our foot off the gas because we're doing it for the right reasons. And this is just the start because, like I said, this movie is worth checking out because I like where we're going.
Stay tuned. I think this is a multi-part.
Yes.
There's going to be multiple sequels.
It's not
on
coming
this.
soon. We're here. Stay
We're
tuned.
here. Stay tuned. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Soundbites. And if you have ideas about what we should cover in future episodes, we're all ears. Send us an email at soundbites@starkey.com. And we would be delighted to bring on other experts like Brandon to discuss the issues that are on top of mind for you. Brandon, as always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your leadership and direction and vision for the new Starkey. And
It takes a team.
it
Thank
takes
you.
a team. And
And thank all of our customers and employees because I work for them and it's an honor of my life. So thank you, Dave.
indeed. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll hear and see you again next time.